Okay, in this video I'm going to do a subnetting problem, and it says given this IP network address 200.100.20.0, answer the following questions if 8 subnets are created. The 8 subnets include the network and broadcast address. Okay, yes. So we're basically determine the network address, broadcast address, and fill in the first and last available host addresses. The fact that it starts with a 200 tells us that it's a Class C network, and sort of the calculations sort of go like this. What you do is you say, look, if it's a Class C, then N is equal to 32. And if we're dividing this into 8 subnets, then it takes 3 S bits to do that, because 2 to the third is 8. That immediately gives us the mask with 3 ones in the front of it in that last octet. 3 ones in a byte gives us a 224, 128 plus 64 plus 32. And finally, the mask in total is 255, 255, 255, 224. Okay, we're subnetting a Class C, so all the action's happening in that last byte. Okay, so this is where that mask is. And if N is 32 and S is 3, then H must be 5, so that N is actually 24 here. If N is 24, which is what it is for a Class C network, and S is 3, then H must be 5, so that the 3 sum to 32. Then the number of hosts per subnet is 2 to the H, 2 to the 5th, or 32, and that turns out to be our increment. Okay, and it asks you below here to show your work in finding the increment, to find those networks. And I did the same thing here. I wrote N equals 32. It's supposed to be 24. Got to check your work. And the number of, so if N is 24, and if we're dividing into 8 subnets, S must be 3. That leaves 5 bits left over for the hosts. 32 hosts per subnet, and we're going to increment in the 4th octet of 32. So counting by 32s, we get this sequence. Okay, this increment is also the bit position of the least significant S bit. We've got 3 S bits in that subnet mask, and this one is in the 32's place, and that's the same as our increment, and therefore our subnet IDs are counting by 32, 0, 32, 64, 96, 128, 161, 92, and 224. It's straightforward to add 1 to those numbers to get the first host addresses, and it's straightforward to subtract 1 from the next subnet ID to get the broadcast addresses. Okay, and you got to remember it would go all the way up to 255. And then it's also straightforward to subtract 1 from the broadcast addresses to get the last host address. Okay, and in the notes I mentioned that you can skip this part where it asks you to do the bitwise AND. The bitwise AND is used to find the subnet ID given an IP address and a subnet mask. Well, we've already got subnet IDs here. We don't have, and so you can skip this part in the problems in the homework. Okay, hope that helps. So basically what we've done here is we've taken a Class C network, which has 256 IP addresses in it, and we've divided it into 8 subnets, and therefore, because 8 times 32 is 256, we have an increment of 32 here. Okay, hope that helps.